Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020. This is Career Mode. It's episode 104. We are just about to the end of the season. It's Milano-Torino, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing how terrible the AI is at managing riders. I turned on Auto Planner, and exactly 1 month later, we have a -10 race day condition, and it's not by chance. It is through fitness. It is through fatigue. All those things that I manage perfectly well throughout the season absolutely fall to pieces in just 1 month. Just 2 climbs today on this nice long classic. First climb, it's pretty steep. It is pretty steep. And you can see how we're drifting backwards. Telford drifted back a little too much. Let's up that effort before you get yourself dropped. Also for Mark, we'll go to an 85.
You can read the pain on the faces at the back of the Peloton. There's a growing number of riders left
Johnson
behind.
doing all right. Millar's doing all right. And we're about to hit the peak on this one. There's also the 20K banner. 126 riders left in the Peloton. Not that many dropped. Now we can go ahead and recover that position. Hopefully Telford does not get cut out here on this part of the descent. Got some guys going back, it looks like, to get water maybe. Still blinking red at an 86. Oh, there's a split.
We've got 15 kilometers to the finish line.
Actually, there's a big split because that's a lot of riders left behind. I would expect this is going to come back together. It does. Gap closed. All right, everyone making their way back to the front. Smith and Jorgensen lost their assignments because they drifted too far back from Millar and Johnson. Just 22 at the front right now, but again, you can see these gaps for the most part on the verge of closing. Except for this group seems to be losing a bit of traction here. They are so close to making contact. And you'd think it's been established, but it hasn't. We're at the front of this group, and there goes the gap again. So let's manage this group. Those are my climbers, and maybe they are the favorites for this one and not my punchers. All right, for Mark, favorite. It's a bunch of minuses, so it's not exactly a good thing here, but we're going to follow Berwick. Berwick, the best climber. Telford is looking okay today, but puncher, not climber, so maybe I should reverse this. He won't last long. Smith, Smith to lead it out. Smith on a -4. Smith also already at the front of this group. And let's get these two propped up for just a moment. Millar, go ahead and protect Johnson. Just like that, Smith closes the gap. Smith, we don't need to go 95 anymore. Go 92 here. There's Telford, there's Jorgensen, there's Berwick, there's for Mark. That's us coming back through the field. Let's use the space that's given to us as we hit the base of the final climb. Telford, Gel. Go ahead and up the effort again, Smith.
5 kilometers to the finish line.
Okay, kind of stuck behind. I'm assuming that's Hershey.
And they keep on attacking. Anyone that's low on gas definitely
No,
won't be
then
able
Wilder.
to keep up.
Okay then. I almost bridged the gap here to Millar and Johnson. Telford. Telford, 95. Let those early attacks go. Gel up for these guys as well. Vermark will let last a little bit longer. Telford. Jorgensen's going to start fading here. Get Jorgensen out of this mess. Berwick's going to have to now pull up by himself. He's out of red bar, but he's still got some yellow. And he's still a decent enough climber. You can see he's pulling us back now. Telford. 5 riders have gone away, by the way. 3K to go. We might have to just move on to these other guys. For Mark. Okay, go your pace. Millar, Johnson. Millar, use your gel. Johnson, let's start to inch it forward. Focus on these two. Vermark. I don't think Vermark's going to make it terribly well from here on out. Suddenly it's a chase group of just 17, and Vermark did not make that cut. Millar is doing an 86, 87. There goes Vermark. Vermark, how you doing? Vermark, why don't you try to just grab onto the back, because you are that puncher. Johnson, gel. We're somehow in the last K already. It's way faster than I expected it to be. So Johnson, go faster.
And there goes the mad burst for the final sprint. Falling behind.
Move up one spot. 400 meters, sprinted out. Alaphilippe takes a win ahead of McNulty. I did not time this terribly well. Walter, Pogacar, Barguil, Evenepoel. I thought this climber was longer than it was. Roglic, Hershey 8th, Guillaume Martin 9th. Simon Yates rounds out the top 10. We're going to just be outside of that. 14th for Zach Johnson. We were definitely trending upwards there at the end. Johnson definitely should have finished 6 places higher. I assumed the climb was longer and harder than it actually ended up being. First problem, and this is always one of those problems. So I get it often in the comments about saving your riders, right? Only going hard enough. Well, we did that previous climb. Saved energy. Only went hard enough. But then one split emerges in the group. So then all of a sudden, 3/4 of my team misses the split because they drifted backwards where we saved energy. Now, the domestique guys, they would have been exhausted if we had gone harder and stayed near the front. I would have lost them. But I still would have had about 4 riders, maybe 5, in the front. Now, the only reason why that second group even bridged the gap was because of me, right? I put my guys in a train and brought them back forward. But we bridged the gap to the back of the group. I ended up getting 0 of those 6 riders in contention. Vermark got close. The other 5 were used up just trying to bring him gently up there. But also, in doing that, my attention ended up on the back group. Front group, Johnson was doing just fine. Johnson should have finished 6 places higher. But my attention was on Vermark's group, not Johnson. And, again, if we'd gone harder in the first climb, I would have had those 4 riders. That's the playstyle that I like, but I so often get comments about conserving and protecting and drifting backwards and then coming back later. It works out sometimes, but it also does what it does here. And I should have stuck to my guns, because in this case, my strength definitely would have worked out better. Again, I think I would have had 4 riders instead of 2 there at the end. And I would have been focused on them. So not only would Johnson have solely, based on just the 2 riders, been able to finish 6 riders higher, but with 4 riders, maybe better. Maybe it's a podium, or at least a top 5. Either way, my attention's on the front of the race where it belongs, instead of managing a gap at the back. It's give and take, though, because it does on occasion work out. If the climb was longer, things would have worked out a bit better. Things would have been different. There's so many what ifs you can play. There are always what ifs. And this is one of those what if times where I know the what if was better than the actual result. Definitely not always the case. There are times where this tactic is significantly better, especially if the climb is far from the finish. This climb wasn't that far from the finish, the penultimate climb, and I do tend to go for that conserve energy on those. But when you're pretty close to the finish, you don't have much time for recovery, and that showed here. So really, that's on me. That's bad judgment on me, not on commenters who say do this and then I do that and it fails. No, that I made that call, not you. So I do take the blame on that one. Still not a terrible result. 14th. One final race on the season. Also, some news. Let's get to the news. Mr. Superstar, rookie superstar, who's already up to a national reputation as a rookie, Pavel Rodriguez, has leveled up. And the full point variety. He's gone from a 77 to a 78. Mountain is now an 81 for Pavel Rodriguez. That's a pretty good jump because he was 78, 79. Time trial, I think, might have gone up a point. I think it was a 77. And the resistance has definitely jumped. He's now a 76. So, man, oh man, is he looking good. Cobble rating, the only thing under 70. And 67 is not that bad for a stage racer. 72 is not that bad of a flat rating for a stage racer. So Pavel Rodriguez is looking more and more dangerous all the time. And this is really, really good news for us. Because if you remember, we left off last episode looking like we were missing out on World Tour. And possibly one level up away from increasing that index where we need it. Well, it might be grayed out behind us, but you can probably already see we have moved up. But we haven't moved up enough. And we're down to a week before this is finalized. So we are coming very, very close. Very, 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 very close. Top 19 for World Tour. We are 22nd. We are a 4-star team now. It says 76 points on the index, but we have 4-star. We have a 78, 77, 76 for our top 3. That is a 77 average. So we're actually apparently at a 77.0 right now. And we are right there, above NTT and Mitchelton Scott and Lotto Soudal. But still behind Circus Group Wanty Gobert, Febelmir, Israel Startup Nation at the edge. The tiniest level up. I don't need another point from any of these 3 guys, but I need a small level up. Now, for Mark, had one 2 months ago. He's not going to have another. Not this close together. Rodriguez just had one a day ago. He's obviously not going to have another immediately. So all of our hopes are riding on the same guy that they were riding on before. He's due. He is overdue for leveling up. And he's got high potential. But he hasn't done it yet. He's got 1 week to get the job done. No matter how small the level up, it would be enough. And by the way, in terms of threats, this is what's left. Minoru Kondo, who just jumped in level, by the way. This was a new gen who was not a 74 a couple weeks ago and remains unsigned, is the best rider that is free for next season. So, no threats and anybody else moving up. This is all internal this last week, and it's a race. But it's down to 1 week. So, Gazzoli hasn't leveled up at this point. Is now our most expensive rider. And all of our hopes are riding on Gazzoli and something. Anything. It's been how long since he leveled up? He's a 6'8 potential. Super high. March. It's possible. It is possible he levels up. But it's going to be super tight. 3 days till we head to Lombardia. I'll see you there. I don't know if we're going to get anything in 3 days, but fingers crossed. in the final race that I will participate in this season, Lombardia is a tough challenge, especially for this late in the season. I did bring a pretty good group here with the exception of Vermark, who's only a 70 mountain, and so he is our super domestique for the day. No chance of his punchiness really being any sort of help. So right now, I'm keeping the effort at a minimum, especially as we head to a big climb. But the Peloton has already shrunk. Not once, but multiple times. You can see we're down to 148 riders chasing 14. 2 minutes to those 14 mean they're very little of a threat with this amount of climbing to do. I'm going to have to up the tempo just a little bit, but I really want to keep this at a minimum through here. 10.7K for this climb, 1,300 meters, 8%. That is not going to be easy, but we got water right before we hit the climb. We will have to get water at least one more time before the finish. This nice long descent would be a good time to get water if we're still near the front. Vermark hanging in there for now. Killen is struggling. I don't think Vermark's going to necessarily make it to the top. Go ahead and gel up for him. Killen also. Yep, these guys going backwards. Even Denny Ginn, 76 mountain. He's only got 68 on the resistance. I think he's going to recover. He will make it over the top. Killen, Vermark both dropped. Set them to auto. Ginn doesn't have the energy to pull this back. Millar does. Millar's going to have to go get that water for us. 90K still to go. 107 left in the Peloton. 10 riders left off the front of the Peloton, split into two groups. Oh, Millar, don't you get split here. I hate how that happens sometimes. Actually, it's not sometimes. It's quite often, isn't it? Millar inching his way back forward. Ginn recovered a little bit, but really not much. You'd think he would recover a lot more, but this descent is high tempo. Yes, they say we take our foot off the gas. No, I mean, look how hard Millar is riding, and he's barely moving up one bike length at a time. We hit the base, and he'll move up a little bit faster now, but yeah, he just spent that entire descent chasing. As more riders go off the front, it's now out to 13. There's another attack. Are these contenders? Let's make sure. Oh, that's Adam Yates. Simmons. Palace is in there. Hindley is in there. Not too bad otherwise. All right, for Mark Killen, they're not coming back. They're 3.5 minutes behind. This is the shortest of those final 5 climbs, but don't forget there is a small little punchy one at the finish with a cobbled section, so it's not just going to be these 5 climbs that decide it, but this is the least decisive of the climbs. Ginn already, just from this little thing. Go ahead and gel up, and let's also up the effort for everyone. We're going to set to 81 now. This next one is going to be really steep. We're going to need more than that. 83. Let's hope the tempo's not too bad because this will shatter. This is the steepest climb coming. Again, he's only going to be there for a moment at the base of the climb, so we're going to be down to 4 guys. We need to change our setup here. Is it going to be Millar? Yes, Millar or Moreau. Moreau, really nice on his race day condition. Millar's a little more tired, so let's go ahead and use Millar. Johnson and Rodriguez are the definite leaders. Johnson with a +4 and a good climber, but that +4 really making the difference because he lacks in some other areas. You can see resistance only a 70, but today, 79. Today, mountain, 81. Rodriguez, though, 81 is his base. He's an 82.79 today, but you can see how similar they are. 6.2K, 9% is the average gradient on this one. We're hitting the steep section now. 12%. 15 there for just a moment. Halfway up the climb. Moreau fading a little bit here. Again. Wow, long gone. Halfway up the climb, he has long gone. Moreau will take over with Johnson as soon as we go over the top of this one. 73 left in the peloton. Moreau recovers to the front. Go ahead and change his duties now. Millar is already fading. I thought he was going to make it through this climb. I knew he was tired, but... 60, 74. Oh, a crash. Lucky none of us were in it. And there's a split. There's not a split. There is a split. There's not a split. Can't make up their mind. Let's go ahead and try to return. Let's also go ahead and use our gel. I would like to be getting water right about now, but the group is still a bit too large. Gap you have to cover is still too big. Last two climbs, set to an 85 now. Two riders left off the front. Hindley and Trentadue. This is the bigger of the two climbs. And we're going to see the size of the group diminish rapidly. Let's go ahead and gel up for Moreau. Millar is gone. Let's see. At the back, there's a good 10 riders that are just hanging on. So it's down to 43 just like that. We're not halfway up this climb yet. 41. We're going to get down to an elite group of about 25, I'd say, by the time we hit the top of this thing.
The group is slowly thinning out.
And here comes the first accelerations. Hagita, Murnick. Okay, 79, 75. They're going for it. And with two strong riders, it's a good time for me to go for it. Moreau. Okay, Johnson. Johnson's got to lead out Rodriguez. I mean, come on, Rodriguez is the leader here. So this is it. This is the big move. This isn't going to be a 10-rider kind of thing. As two get away, suddenly we're already down inside that 22 and 2, so it's already less than that 25. Now it's 12 chasing 2, chasing 1. Johnson's toast. But we'll set him to a 99. Rodriguez. Are they going away? Yates and Rubio. Johnson will be here. He's still going to have his gel. He'll recover slightly. Rodriguez, time for you to go on. There we go. Gap covered. And now it's 8 chasing 2. Johnson's been dropped. Rodriguez goes over the top. Just a little bit of energy left for him. Johnson in the gap. He will recover a little bit on the descent. So we're looking at possibly 3rd place. Gel up. Now's the time to use it. Two at the front are Hagita and Murnick. Those first two to go away. Rodriguez recovers a bit here. Johnson, not so much. Try to keep him in that gap as best we can, because that's 11th place. All it takes is one to drop and he'll be back in contention. Also, we're catching up to the two front riders. Rodriguez riding solo and not a lot of energy. I want to hang on. Definitely not thinking about attacking here, but we're seeing the acceleration by some of these guys. 5 going away, 5 behind. Now it's back together. Now it's 2 away and 6 behind. We got way too much climbing still to do on this one for Rodriguez to try to attack. Most of these guys, you can see all 6 of them really are just hanging on. We will get to recover on the descent, but we don't have any energy to accelerate past these guys. Meanwhile, Johnson, check in with him real quick. Not far behind. Tish Benut, Sam Uman in that gap. Rodriguez riding for about 3rd place at the moment. Hoping for 3rd place anyway. Definitely a top 10. Can we leave anybody behind with a tiny acceleration? We do. We split the group right before the top. Now there's just 2 of us. Barguil. So we're looking at the top 5 suddenly. Top 4. Okay, now we're gonna have to sit up a little bit though. We need to recover on the descent.
Which will allow the riders to catch their breath.
Johnson's been caught by a group behind him. Rodriguez recovering nicely right now. Barguil doing the work. That makes me happy. Makes me happy because he's not going to recover much and will be able to contribute on the flat. Look how much he has recovered. Alright, let's go ahead and change circumstances back here. Set you to auto. And as we hit the bottom, we'll start contributing.
The riders are entering the last
See if we can catch Hagita. We are so close to Hagita now. I still haven't taken a turn on the front. Go and grab water. Ooh, oh, no. We both sat up at the same time. Really? He was working. I put my hand up for water and he sits up. And then instantly we go back to this group. But with that chase, we do catch Hagita at least. So now it's 7. Are we seeing an attack? We are seeing an attack. Oh, we saw an attack. I tried to go with it and Hagita sat up. There we go. We break that. Okay, now we're in a group of 4 chasing 1. Still 9K to go. We can't go too hard right now. Now it's a group of 7 chasing 1. Nobody's working together. I contribute. Alaphilippe contributes. Okay. 7K to go. 69 cobble rating. We're going to be a little, let's see, Rubio's terrible. Alaphilippe is similar to us. Yates is terrible. Barguil. Okay, oh, I like our chances. Let's save our energy for a moment. And there's Mernick. How is Mernick? 64. All of us have similar ratings, but Rodriguez is among the 2 best.
We're into the last 5 kilometers.
All right, here we go. We're gonna ride away from this group right now.
This climb is
Attack.
feared by many riders. The percentages are very high. And he moves on to the attack. It could be decisive.
Down to 3.
By Barguil.
Down to 3. I think we're down to 2. Are we not? Okay, it's 3. It's 3. Coming up on the finish line. 1.4K. Sprint it out. Sprint it out. Come on, Rodriguez. Come on, Rodriguez. Come on. Oh, no. Yes, come on. Come on. Get there. Pavel Rodriguez ahead of Julian Alaphilippe, ahead of Barguil, ahead of Mernick. We got the victory. Pavel Rodriguez with the monument. What a ride. It was his cobble rating that made the difference. We were able to tactically come together, front 8 riders, there at the end. Half of them got left behind on that little cobble punchy. Alaphilippe got a little left behind, but he kept himself close enough, and it's Alaphilippe with his sprint. He was able to contend. He was able to get so close. But Rodriguez, through that cobbled section, got just enough of an edge. Barguil, Murdoch held on. They were there, but they had nothing left. Rodriguez had the most, along with Alaphilippe. Why? Because they had the 2 best cobble ratings. But we were able to get that little edge. We were a little bit ahead of Alaphilippe, where during the descent, he had to chase solo. Rodriguez was able to save a little bit of energy on that descent and have that little bit of a couple 100-meter advantage ahead of Alaphilippe for the final sprint to hang on by a few meters. We might not have gotten Milano-Torino just right, but we get Lombardia inch perfect, and we claim the monument victory. Okay, there's still 3 days left, so maybe, just maybe, things are not going to go our way. However, we have woken up to a Christmas miracle, or at least a Halloween miracle, as it's technically October, but I think you get what I'm saying. Michele Gazzoli is still a 76, but the team index has jumped. We crossed the 77 threshold, and it moved us up 3 spots. Exactly what we needed. We have overtaken Israel Startup Nation for the final World Tour spot with just 3 days left in the season. Michele Gazzoli, even though they are still a 76, Gazzoli has leveled up. Gazzoli is now a 75 sprint. He was a 73. Acceleration has stayed the same. I think he added a couple points of resistance, as his resistance was not great. I don't know if he gained anything anywhere else, but sprint and resistance have gone up, while Gazzoli is still a 76, still an unknown. He did it. And you know, while I'm not happy with what we're paying Gazzoli, the reality is he was making $20,000 already this last year. I don't know if he was on a 1-year deal or a multi-year contract, but at 26 years of age, he's not past his prime. He's still developing. The salary looks a little better. A little better. When we're only talking about a couple thousand more than what he was making previously. And if we survive the next 3 days, it's changed 3 times now in the last 2 months. Because all 3 of them have seen a level. Vermark did not gain a point in his average. Gazzoli did not gain a point in his average. Rodriguez did. Rodriguez made the biggest jump of the 3. We can mostly thank Rodriguez. But Wykankis, if he's still our next top guy, we don't make this jump. 3 days to go. Let's go ahead and push forward the final 3 days of the season. Will we make it? We might have done it. It's showing 28th right now. Please, oh please, let this be the next season. Divisions 2026. We were excited by Rodriguez for good reason, and he really stepped up, and he's the main reason why we are heading to the World Tour now, and he's just entering his 2nd year. Imagine how he's going to be at the end of this coming year. Imagine how he's going to be when he comes to the end of his contract at that 3rd year. That is somebody who could be number 1 in the Super Prestige in that 3rd season. I could see that happening. That is going to do it for this episode and this season. Welcome back to the World Tour. Wall Construct. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.